Hello and welcome to our 10 years anniversary series for our HPCC Systems platform. Yes, this is yet another one of those where we have more people from the community, people that have been involved for a very long time and have been quite active with the HPCC Systems open source initiative. And they bring their perspectives on things that they've been working on, some of the maybe hurdles that they faced in the past, and some of the new projects that are coming down the road. Of course, these people, you probably know them because you've seen them in the past in other podcasts and also in face-to-face, hopefully, in one of our events. I'm referring to Michael Gardner and Ming Wang. Both have been, as I said before, very active in the community. They've done quite a bit of development in HPCC, and they had their fingers dirty with lots of things that they've been touching in the platform and beyond, and the integration with other systems. They are especially active in some of the deployment systems, in some of the Kubernetes integration, and on and on. So, with no more preamble, welcome, folks, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So, folks, well, let's start with Ming, just randomly. So, Ming, tell us a little bit about you. When did you start getting involved with HPC Systems, and what were your first steps in that process?
Yeah, I think I joined the company in 1913, so it's not 2013, so 7 years. I'm at the beginning, more focused on the build and the tools, HPC tools, client-side tools, and I'm still do the building now, but more focused on the cloud solution and help the team familiar with the Kubernetes, Azure, AWS, and myself also involved some development work and testing work.
Very good, very good. How about you, Michael? What have you been doing? When did you join, and what have you been doing with HPCC?
Well, I joined just about 6 years ago, a little bit after Ming. I was originally an intern and came to the company through our internship program. Originally, what I was working on was administrative tools, some platform build issues with Ming, the init systems for bare metal. But lately, I've been shifting more over towards cloud management and the Docker builds. So the ecosystem for HPC systems is getting pretty interesting lately.
Yes, it is. So and yes, both have been around for quite a bit of time. 5, 6, 7 years is nothing to be sneezed at. Even 8 years almost. Ming, you're almost going for your 8th year, right? 2013. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, 8 year, yeah.
Yeah, yes. So tell us a little bit about the how this shift to this new cloud-enabled platform is driving your work. So what are you doing nowadays? And if you can, even the challenges that you had as you started looking at these new technologies and these new capabilities in HPCC.
Yeah, so when I first joined the team, mostly we just do the bare metal, and gradually we shift to the cloud, right? In past 3 years, actually, I do give a presentation at the conference for the some sessions to discuss, to talk about the various cloud solution, particularly for the AWS for the first past 2-3 years, the Kubernetes, the Docker, and how the HPC can deploy it. We actually more company work will focus on this cloud environment. So our job for the development and for the testing also shift heavily. And we actually need to get everybody familiar with the environment and also get the environment is friendly for the user. That's our main focus, and that's what we actively working and develop now.
Very good. And you, Michael?
Yeah, well, like being talked about, the shift towards the cloud has been very interesting. Probably one of the most jarring differences from when I first started working here to today is the amount of time that it actually takes to set up the entire platform on a cluster. When I first started working here, it would take almost an hour to partition everything, get everything set up, get everything pushed across the cluster, have everything set up so it was actually going to be a workable runtime. These days, though, and even on bare metal, we have it working almost flawlessly, so that the actual spin up time is negligible. But with our move towards Azure and the cloud, and with some of these Helm charts, I can completely create a massive cluster in almost no time, pushing fresh images of the platform of our latest releases, and there's next to no downtime at all. So that's been pretty amazing.
So that is really amazing. So what have you seen as the biggest challenges in that process? So Michael, has this been fairly seamless moving from one to the other, or do you think it's going to take a little bit of adaptation for users to move to this type of environments?
I mean, I think it will take a little bit of adaptation. I mean, I know certainly it has for myself. I can't speak for Ming, but I mean, it's learning a brand new technology.
Yeah,
of course, it builds on fundamentals that we've known already. But any time that you're working with a new technology, there's a little bit of growing pains.
Well, and that's also exciting, right? That's
yeah.
I mean, you've been always involved with new technologies too, right? So, what do you think is the biggest challenge for someone that is going from bare metal to containers, Kubernetes or something like that?
I think one thing is for the loading the data probably will be different than before, right? Before we just spread the data to the store. Now the method and activity probably will be a little bit different, depending on where is your storage. And another big challenge is the performance, right? We know, because the type of storage we're using, zero latency, and we actually, the development team, try very hard to resolve to give optimized solutions, and we're still improving. Try to make it better.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, Kubernetes has been originally meant as a compute environment where you think of your nodes in Kubernetes as ephemeral. But that's a little bit opposite to what you want in a data processing environment where your data needs to be persistent, or anything you do goes away. So, and of course, access to data can have some extra latency if you don't have the data hosted right there within the compute node. That's that's probably a challenge. So how about the instrumentation around deployment? So how hard has it been to build the mechanisms? And I think Michael, you mentioned the Helm chart, which makes things extremely easy for people. But how difficult has it been to take advantage of the capabilities that Kubernetes gives us and the cloud environment gives us, the flexibility there? I remember that in the past we used to have quite a bit of stickiness to IP addresses of nodes, for example. So have we been able to resolve that and have embraced almost a fully dynamic environment now?
I would say as far as a beginning user going in and using our Helm charts, now if you go and you read our blogs up on the HPCC Systems website, we have some great blogs up there by Jake. We have some great blogs up there by Gavin, and even Richard Chapman as well. If you read those blogs, you'll have a really strong starting point to be working with our Helm charts. They're fairly easy to use, fairly straightforward. They'll set up a relatively simple system, but one that's robust enough to actually do real work. For the user trying to get into using the Helm charts, all the documentation is there, and they can hit the ground running.
Very good. And just now to Ming. Ming, how about deploying environments where you only want only one type of cluster? So if you wanted to deploy just a store environment or a proxy environment, is there a difference? Because in the past we usually provided instances that maintain both environments, and essentially you said, well, I want to have both running and then define what I run in each. If you were trying to specialize the environment, are there considerations for users in this type of deployments?
Yeah, actually, Thor, when you deploy, you only get the minimum, the agent, right? You don't have any workers. So it's based on your job, and then there's a job will spawn on runtime on dynamically to process your data. So that's pretty much is an efficient way to do it, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
the Roxy, the same thing is you can have a minimum Roxy or even have a zero Roxy at the beginning, but you can, based on the dynamic, you can scale it up automatically, or you want to scale up manually through we have a file called value.yaml configure file, so you can do that way. So yeah, it's very flexible. I think the cloud I need to mention is my experience that before, for example, when we do the build, right, we need to probably have 50, 60 servers. When we do the in-house one, they take a long time. They have a traffic jam, they have a server can down, and really pain of that. Now we don't need to worry about all of these, and we can start all of them together. Even though the money we spend is same, but we got much faster, right? Everything is just simultaneously running. It's really great, I mean, for the cloud solutions.
That is amazing. And of course, what you mentioned about deploying for Thor just the agent and letting Thor spawn on demand when you have a work unit submitted, that is absolutely amazing, because if you were to have your Thor deployed at all times in the cloud, you would be paying for each one of those nodes. So having it spawn when you need it and then go away when you stop needing it is, I think, quite important in this type of environments. That is really, really good. So, but tell me a little bit more about. So, are there any particular considerations around? We talk about performance, we talk about deployments. How about security? Are there any things that need to be considered as we deploy or we have users deploying on the cloud? Are there things they should be concerned about around security in deployments?
Michael, you want to take that?
Yeah, certainly. Of course, you're going to want to have a TLS turned on in the environment. You're going to be wanting to use our certificates. There's ways in Azure to store all your certificates so that they're available to all the nodes. I believe we have a blog up on that as well.
Oh, very good. Oh, those resources are important. Yeah, we really recommend that everyone to go to those blogs. Those blogs have really invaluable information there. Yeah.
Yeah. The important thing for a security-wise is you only want them to be able to access your ECL watch, and everything else in your network needs to be locked behind the firewall in Azure. And then, of course, your access to that ECL watch really does need to be locked down with LDAP or any other type of authentication system that you're using. As far as the data goes, you really should keep your data encrypted, but that's up to the end user. I know certainly that's something that we would do.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, yeah, so now we talk about the past and the present. So how about the future? 8.0 is almost around the corner, right? We said end of March, so we are almost there. So what do we do next? After 8.0 comes out, do we go all on vacation and that's it? That's the end? Or so how do you think this evolving? Yeah. And I know I'm just being facetious. I'm not. I don't actually believe that we will go on vacation.
Yeah, I think the new product or the milestone run, what you need to do is testing, right? You need to have more people involved to do the play with it, use it, and we need more testing. I think one of the areas is our team particularly support the open source, right, project for the HPCC. Now the open source have a different meaning. It's public cloud. Right? How many we support? What kind of scenarios? So many configuration we need to consider. Maybe we can't test all of them at the beginning, but we gradually want to see how these things play out, and then either we can improve the HPC or maybe we test more. When the user get in hand, they can have a better experience. I think that's our goal.
Of course. And Michael, were you about to say something there?
No, I agree with Ming. Definitely, it's going to be testing going forward from here, and definitely seeing what the end users out in the open source community, how they take the changes and what type of feedback they give to us. That's all stuff that we're looking for.
That's very good. Okay, great, folks. I don't want to make this too long. We tried to make all of these episodes bite-sized. But this was great. I think we covered quite a bit of ground. It's been fun. And of course, it's quite fun to see HPC systems developing after 10 years of being open source and beyond. I hope we can get here together in 10 years to talk about this episode and the past 20 years. Thank you very much, folks, and we'll stay in touch.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Flavio.